Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. We are here today with our Friday review. Love being able to connect with you towards the end of the week, go over everything that's been happening all week long, whether it's on the podcast, inside of the global health community, whether it's a health results accelerator, what we have going on. Love being able to share those updates with you. So much of them are reader and viewer and listener based recommendations. So we do appreciate that. We literally listen to every single comment and question, all of those things. We bring them in each and every day, and we try to do our very best to serve you. Not always perfect, but we do our very best, that's for sure. So one thing I do want to make sure is that on every single Friday, I'm bringing you a new book review, something that I've been talking about over the week, that I've been reading myself over the past week. I love being able to bring you product reviews. So each and every week, things that I'm using myself typically in my own life, as well as recommending on my resource page and in my practice. Love being able to bring you research studies. So I'm researching every single day. And I typically pick 2 each week besides the podcast, which usually Tuesdays and Wednesdays are loaded with research-based studies. Thursdays, yesterday is our conversations with Cabral. That's where I get to do a nice interview with someone inside of this industry as an expert. And then on Fridays, I'm bringing you 2 additional research studies. So things that I think that really would involve you or maybe parents, grandparents, someone that you care for, that you'd be able to pass along that research to. So this week is no different. I've got a brand new one. I shared it on Instagram. So if you're not following along on Instagram, head on over. It's just my name, Stephen Cabral. And just make sure you turn on the notifications or you will never see any of my posts. It's pretty insane what's been really going on over this past year, but literally you won't ever find my posts or my stories unless you search out my page. But if you turn on the notifications, you will be notified. All right, so one last thing is, if you like to watch podcasts on video, the podcast is now on video. A lot of people still don't know that, and that's my job to try to get that information out. If you like to watch podcasts, you can watch them on YouTube. It's just my name, Stephen Cabral, or on every podcast page. So today is episode 1792. So if you go to stephencabral.com/1792, you'll be able to watch it on video there, or of course on YouTube. All right. Let's get right into the show. So this week, pretty amazing week. One of my favorite weeks for sure out of the year. And one of the reasons why I say that is I love this quiet time between, essentially, if you celebrate Christmas, I celebrate Christmas. So if it's between Christmas and New Year's, you kind of have that lull of a week. It's not really 2020 anymore, but yet it's not 2021. We're in this like in-between space where basically we're just waiting for the new year. And so I always use it as a quiet time for reflection. I like to read a little bit more. Typically, my reading during this week is more, I would say, based on books that I want to review. And I'm going to bring many of them to you today. But I use it as a lot of quiet time for reflection. I like to take a couple days off from work. Of course, I like to celebrate the new year, New Year's Eve with family and with friends. I love being able to do that. I no longer stay up till midnight or 1 a.m., but that's because I like to enjoy New Year's Day. I like to wake up early. I like to watch the sunrise. I like to bring in and usher in the new year the way that I like to celebrate it that way. And again, everybody has their own way, and that's completely fine. So today, I recorded this previously, but I wanted to say Happy New Year's. So this is a brand new year, and I always like to say, and again, it may sound cliche, but whatever happened last year and years before, that can be left behind. It really can. I know a lot of times we like to bring those things with us, but this can be a year for new beginnings. I truly believe that, and I certainly hope so in terms of the global pandemic and immunity and fear and all of those things that I just hope that within the next 90 days, that I know that it's going to take another 12 weeks or so, but after that, we can, as I've been saying, take that collective sigh of relief and really, it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot, but I know that we can do it, that we can start to just come back together because we're so separated right now. We've set up tribes and we've set up lines in the sand and all these different things. But I do hope that we understand that we're all humans. We're all trying to do the best that we can with where we're currently at in our life. And again, if my team and I can ever help, we would love to be able to do so. So Happy New Year's. I hope that you're enjoying the day and this coming weekend. And of course, we will be here every single day on the Cabral Concept in 2021. All right. A few other items that I'd like to bring you, and that is the start to our community detox is happening January 11th. If you haven't heard about it yet, that is when we do our 7, 14, or 21-day functional medicine detox. Absolute best way to basically start with a clean slate. Hit the reset button. It happens not this coming Monday, but the next. Now, you can start your detox whenever you want. If you don't know what a detox is, you can learn more at equi.life. That's equi.life/detox. The other item I would like to mention is that anyone looking to lose weight and keep it off, meaning like, yes, there are all sorts of diet plans out there, but if you want to lose the weight as fast as any of the other ones, but you also want to learn how to transition to more of a normal diet and be able to keep the weight off this year, I can't recommend enough the Fertility program. And again, I'm not going to push it hard on you. It's there if you want it. But it is the first ever 24-hour fat-burning based system based on science. There's actually 25 clinical studies, and it is an entire program based on the de-stress protocol. It's the diet, it's the exercise, it's the supplement protocols, it's everything. It's what we've been using in our practice. It was developed over 18 months, which is a very long time, and it's been implemented over the past 12 months. So many success stories have come in. I know that many people have written in. I love seeing the success stories. I love seeing the before and afters. We're not a marketing company, so we don't market as well as a lot of other companies, but I can assure you that our products and protocols are guaranteed to work. If you want to learn more about taking the weight off this year, once and for all, by rebalancing the underlying factors of cortisol and sleep and thyroid and healthy levels of blood sugar, healthy levels of inflammation, you can go to equi.life/fatlocity, and that's FATLOSSITY. All right, that is what I have for you this week. I want to share with you what you may have missed, and I understand it was, basically Christmas holidays and all sorts of different gatherings maybe going on. I know a lot of people are social distancing this year and not seeing family. And again, I think it's too bad, but I understand. I'm saying the whole situation, I believe, is too bad, but I totally understand because you don't want to get on a plane right now if you're at risk, if you're immunocompromised, any of those things. So I totally understand. And I feel for everyone that's not able to be with family and friends and loved ones at this time. And again, I hope, my hope is that we do come out of this in another 12 weeks or so, 16 weeks maximum, and then we're starting to feel much better about where we're at in the world. But if you missed any of the shows last week, we had a bunch of what I feel were great ones. We went over the 12-week year every single year. At this time of the year, every single year, I bring you the 12-week year. And if you don't know about that system and the way that I've really tried to reformulate it over the years, I recommend checking out that show. That was episode 1788. On episode 1789, we talked about lab testing for the new year. Yes, run your blood labs with your PCP. Yes, do that, and I tell you which ones. But I also tell you why it's not enough. It's the difference between diagnosing the disease and figuring out what the underlying root cause imbalances are that would lead to a dis-ease in the body in the first place. So check that out. That was episode 1789. 1790 was how to clear toxic estrogen from the body. That includes environmental estrogens from computer screens, from plastics, etc., and as well as endogenous production, so your own production. And then yesterday's show, I had Dr. Andy Galpin on. I really enjoy his work. I mean, he's really straight to the point. I always enjoy listening to him. Again, like I said, he's just like, I'm trying to be politically corrected, but he just tells you how it is, and I really like that. I really enjoy that. So he is a PhD in bioenergetics, knows a whole lot about nutrition and exercise and fitness. So we went deep on the big difference between optimizing versus adapting. How a lot of people right now are trying to just make their diet work. They're trying to force their diet to work. And in the long run, that's not very good for your body. So we went in depth on that. We talked about exercise. We talked about minimum amounts of time per week. And we also then chatted about what you want to do in terms of your carbs and your macros, like where we felt it might lie for most people. And so again, we didn't agree on everything, but we're not supposed to. Like, we're supposed to be working these things out and doing our best for people. And of course, I think what he could agree on and I can agree on, we could both agree on for certain segments of people. I think that I just deep dive on just a little bit more bio-individuality, which, by the way, he does as well. He was talking from overall standards, but I know specifically that he is hired by many of the top UFC and other athletes as well. So really smart guy. Really enjoyed talking with Dr. Andy Galpin. All right. Those are our podcasts for the week. Today, obviously, you listened to our Friday review. This is episode 1792. You can find all of the links that I'm about to go over, and I'm about to go over a lot at that link. So just head on over to stephencabral.com/1792 for the actual URLs and links to all the different products. Okay, so first product review of the week. This is a product called Daily Swish. It's by Banyan Botanicals, or as I pronounce Banyan Botanicals. And this is a company that specializes in certain Ayurvedic-based formulas. Now, one of the interesting things about Daily Swish is that I've always said, and I've always talked about that, one of the ways that Ayurveda is a little bit different than modern, like how people try to twist Ayurveda in the modern times, is they always recommended sesame oil for the most part for oil pulling. Pretty much across the board, sesame oil was always recommended. In modern day times, they have recommended more coconut oil. And I don't think anything is wrong with one or the other. I think that the fat composition is definitely different. We're looking at more of a saturated fat versus a polyunsaturated fat. With the sesame oil, I think the viscosity is a little different. I think sesame oil is a little lighter in the mouth, but I think both are fine. The pros of coconut oil is that it has been shown to whiten the teeth a little bit more. So here's the nice thing, is I was looking up a product that I would use that included both, because typically I just use some cold processed sesame oil, super cheap. You can buy it in a big container. But I was like, oh, well, and it has an okay taste. It tastes like, obviously sesame seeds. But this is a nice product that contains sesame oil, coconut oil, guduchi, fennel, amalaki, haritaki, and bibataki. So basically, we're looking at triphala plus fennel, and it has essential oils of peppermint and spearmint. So it leaves your mouth with a nice little essential oil taste of mint. And it combines sesame oil and coconut oil as well. Now, they are refined, and they have to be refined simply because this is a light oil. If you prefer unrefined, totally understand as well, and you can just use a scoop of coconut oil or a tablespoon of sesame oil. And again, there's no right amount. It's the right amount for you that you're able to swish it around your mouth for 5 or 10 minutes. Now, again, I like to make things as easy as possible. I don't have an extra 10 minutes in the morning. So what I do is I'll simply brush my teeth. I actually brush my teeth first. I know a lot of people do this before brushing their teeth. I brush my teeth first. It's part of my routine. And then what I do is when I get in the shower, I just put a little bit of this in my mouth, swish it around in my mouth. And then most people spit it right in their toilet when they're done in 5 to 10 minutes. Again, once you're done with your shower, you can work on your nasal breathing. You can spit it right in the toilet. I'll link this product up today. Obviously, super easy to find and really nice light oil. I think there's I would say, maybe 3 to 4 weeks of servings in this. All right. So next up, I have a lot of books for you. I talked about on my Monday podcast how I would be sharing with you all the different links today for all the books I recommended. Well, to get started, I always like to talk about, if you're looking for a good journal, the journals that I stand by 100% are still the Freedom Journal by John Lee Dumas, the Ethic Journal by Dave Ruel. Both of those people, friends of mine, colleagues of mine, really great thinkers. So I like both of those. The Ethic Journal is for daily use, really going through your whole day. I love that. The Freedom Journal, and John Lee Dumas also has the Mastery Journal. I would start with the Freedom Journal, is really to accomplish a big goal in 90 days. So I'm a big fan of both of those journals. They're not expensive. You can honestly get both and decide which one you want to start with or use both. A lot of people like the 5-minute journal. I think it's fine. I like it as well. It's good. It kind of brings you back to the present moment. And then a gratitude journal is great as well. You can also create your own journal by just using a Moleskine journal in terms of giving gratitude. You can simply 1 page a day. List 5 things you're grateful for. Great way to start your day, great way to end your day. What you're grateful for starting the day, and then what happened over the course of the day that you can be grateful for. Maybe it's only one thing, but it's a nice way to bring gratitude back front and center in your life. So Ethic Journal and Freedom Journal, my 2 top picks, without a doubt. And then, of course, everybody should have a journal just to take notes in, and you can use a nice Moleskine journal for that. I will link those up today again at episode 1792. All right, books for the week based on starting the new year off right. Hopefully you already have a bunch of these. The first one is this. It's the 12-week year. 12-week year, super simple book, easy to read, and it goes with this formula I was using for years, but not in a very organized way. Brian Moran, the author of that book, wrote it in a beautifully organized way. So I've never, you know what? I'm going to try to get Brian on the show. I don't know why I've never thought to have him on the show, but I'm making a note right now since literally I don't know. I probably recommended thousands of copies of that book. But anyway, great book. He deserves it. All right. So next book is called Infinite Possibilities. It's an easy book to get into. It's by Mike Dooley, and it's basically just about opening your mind. It really is. That's what it's about. Another one that just popped into my head that I would love you to read, it's called The Magic of Thinking Big. If you've never read that, it's an amazing way to start your year. The Magic of Thinking Big, definitely read that book. And then Success Principles by Jack Canfield. Okay, so Success Principles, Jack Canfield, one of my perennial favorites. Literally, I recommend it all the time. I gift that book all the time. It's funny, but I'm holding a book in my hand right now called Psycho-Cybernetics. This is by Maxwell Maltz. I love the audio version of this as well. So they're all great. I mean, honestly, the audio version was, I'm not a big audiobook kind of guy, believe it or not. I love to read. I really do. And I love this book too. It's Psycho-Cybernetics, the deluxe edition. And it's the original text of the Classic Guide to a New Life by Maxwell Maltz. I haven't even used, I have a bunch of copies of my favorite books. And the reason is that I'm that strange kind of person who gifts books to people. Like I will give you a book out of my office, whether it's at home or whether it's, in Maine or in Boston, wherever I am. But I give books away all the time. And I give them to people who had a light bulb moment, and I can see like it's leading to something. And they just need maybe a little bit more education in the topic. And so I just give them a great book by whether it's Maxwell Maltz or Mike Dooley or Jack Canfield or, any of these people, right? It's Magic of Thinking Big. What's another one? The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. I love giving that book. I give that book away all the time too. And for those people that are looking to say like, hey, what should I do in my life in terms of my passion or my career? Check out Wishcraft. Super small book. I talk about that as well. I always forget the author's name, but I know it's definitely ends in share. I will link that up today as well. So all great books. I would just pick one, even just one, and use my formula. I've talked about this formula many times. Read 10 pages upon waking or before you leave the house, 10 pages at lunch, and 10 pages before, I always mess that up too, which is the most hilarious thing, because I've given this recommendation 1,000 times. And you know what? I probably mess it up 50% of the time. You're reading 10 minutes, not 10 pages. Read 10 minutes before you leave the house. 10 minutes at lunch and 10 minutes before bed. That's 30 minutes a day, but you do them in 10-minute spurts because you might not have 30 minutes all at once. So 10 before you leave the house, 10 at lunch, 10 before bed. That is approximately 10 pages per day, because you'll probably read 3 minutes upon waking or before you leave the house, 3 minutes at lunch, 3 pages at lunch, and about 3 pages or so before bed. You'll get 10 pages a day. That's 300 pages a month, which is enough to read something like Psycho-Cybernetics, which is exactly 294 pages, right? So that's why I give that recommendation. And again, you can blast through 12 books this year, and your mind will always be on the prize this whole year. You'll be able to focus on what you're looking to create. So Love that tip, and I've been using it myself for many, many years. I just take more time at lunch to read and research, and then more time on the weekends as well. All right, so here we go. We are on to our first research-based study of the week. I posted this again on Instagram. That's why I do hope that you tune in for those little snippets on my stories. And the reason is I don't typically create the post because the posts get banned a lot more, but this is, again, so I'm not a medical doctor and I'm not giving you medical advice. I always talk about this. This podcast is not about diagnosis, treatment, or curing of disease. But I love reading research and I know how to research. I've studied statistics and probability and reading research and research studies for a long time. And what I wanted to share with you is this, is there is a drug called ivermectin, all right? Ivermectin actually won the Nobel Prize in Medicine in 2015. So just keep in mind, this is a legitimate drug. You know I don't recommend pharmaceuticals at all, but in life-saving conditions, you know that I will recommend anything that is needed. Now, again, I can't recommend this. I'm not a medical doctor. I can't prescribe drugs, right, or pharmaceuticals. And it's also for short-term use. But what I would say is look into people like Dr. Corey. And again, I can't even link that up in the podcast here today, but you can search YouTube. So search YouTube and type in, "I can't keep doing this," in quotations, "Doctor pleads for review of data during COVID-19 Senate hearing." All right, so you can check that out. Dr. Corey is on literally a task team that reviewed all the research of all pharmaceutical drugs that could possibly help out with this particular virus. And there's amazing studies. So I'm going to link up, I can link up the studies today. So if you go to stephencabral.com/1792, I'll link those up. But a single treatment was able to a 5,000-fold reduction in the virus in 48 hours. And this is, by the way, it's been FDA-approved drug, ivermectin, inhibits the replication of SARS-CoV-2 in vitro. I mean, it's showing that it works. It was also given, I believe this is in Argentina, to 800 healthcare practitioners. All right. Out of all the 800 healthcare practitioners that took it, 0 got the virus. Out of the healthcare practitioners in the hospital that were not given it, 58% got sick. 0 taking this drug prophylactically. 58% got sick. 0 versus 58%. Again, I am not a promoter of pharmaceuticals, but if you can use this with people that are most at risk, maybe it's a good idea. Maybe it's a good idea. Again, I'm not giving you the recommendation, but it's something to look into. And if you have a family member that does get sick, maybe this is worth speaking with your medical doctor about. Again, I'm not giving you medical advice, but I would certainly look into this. I really would. It at least has a lot more efficacy. And again, it's an anti-parasitic like the previous drug we were talking about before that some people and some doctors were using. So just wanted to bring that research to you. I always want to keep you in the know, even if it gets me further banned on Instagram and Facebook. But again, I feel like in life, you have to do the right thing. You just have to do the right thing, and I'm trying to do the right thing. Okay, so research number 2 is about fertility. So I work with, not just me, my team and I, so my whole team over at Equal Life and I work with a lot of wellness clients that are dealing with infertility issues. So sometimes it's with the woman and sometimes it's with the male. Well, in terms of men, there is a new and better fertility test out there. And it's actually looking at sperm quality. So under a lot of the tests right now, under traditional tests, a lot of times you're not finding impaired sperm. But there's a newly approved CAP score test that quantifies the ability of sperm to fertilize an egg and has proven an accurate predictor of infertility. This test can help struggling couples identify the root of their problem and devise a plan. So again, I think it goes way more so yes, detect it, but then work with a natural health practitioner as well. Look at all the different things that you can do with inflammation, heavy metals for men. You want to look at zinc. You want to look at vitamin C. You want to look at candida overgrowth. You want to get the body healthy, right? So you want to run a big 5 ideally, get the body healthy, and figure out what's going on. But that doesn't mean that you can't work with conventional medicine as well. It's just I think that everyone should have their conventional medicine doctor and then an integrative health practitioner or natural health doctor as well. So That is it for today. I appreciate you. I thank you. I'll be back tomorrow with part 1 of our Cabral House Calls, answering all of your calls, all of your questions to start the new year. And of course, if this show was helpful, please do feel free to pass it along to anyone else you believe it could serve. Take care, everyone. Ever wonder what the best sauna, blue blockers, sleep trackers, wake lights, salt lamps, or other health gadgets are? Or what about the top non-toxic mattresses, sheets, soaps, bath products, toothpaste, and cookware? Or would you like to know the cleanest choices for hemp parts, meal delivery services, supplements, and much more? I personally curated, researched, and now created a resource page of all of my top picks that continues to grow each week. These are the exact products I use in my own life, with my family, in my private practice, and they're the ones I trust. To find out all of my up-to-date recommendations and all the details, simply head on over to stephencabral.com/resources.